Welcome to episode 11 of Communication Error, a gaming debate podcast where we may not always agree, but if we listen to what one another has to say, maybe we'll be able to fix our communication error. I'm one of your hosts, Cheesy, and the man that has not been doing anything for 9 days, just a real bum. Johnny Ebo, how are you doing, Johnny?
What's up? I was off for 9 days. That was nice. But yeah, getting back into work today. I'm sure a lot of people took off last week, or at least part of last week.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was rough getting back into it.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's just kind of what happens around the holidays too. Is like nobody's really going to put in the work. They know it's right around the corner.
But I mean, if any of my employers are listening, I had a very productive day today. So
right. He told me all about it. But we won't bore you with that because we're going to, work on some server maintenance and tell you where you can find us, which is Communication Error Podcast, Error Podcast on all of the socials. We are not on Threads because it's a little more difficult right now to switch between accounts, and it's not very friendly that way. But when that gets fixed, we will be there. But also, big news, Gamefly has followed us on Twitter. They have followed us on Threads. So if you are wanting your 30-day membership trial, what is it, Johnny? You're the one that usually does
free
this.
trial. 30-day free trial on Gamefly. We don't have an affiliate code or anything, but yeah, they followed us. They noticed us on Twitter and Threads. I think they followed Cheesy on Threads. I think they followed Shy Guy on Threads too, or somebody from the Discord. I don't remember.
Shy Guy, thank you, Shy Guy, and Mikey. I just made a shout out that our community loves Gamefly, and then from there they gave us a follow. So we made it happen. But Johnny, where can people find you?
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I'm on there as well, and the Nintendo Powercast. I do have a complaint about Threads.
Okay.
It's like broken.
In what way?
Like my notifications don't load.
Oh, okay. I think it's a little broken because normal social medias is like so and so followed you, but in Threads it's like you followed someone. I'm like, I did.
That is nice about. I mean, we're not talking about social media and gaming this week, but we did last week. And yeah, it was nice to be able to just follow everybody you're already following on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it was the fastest that I've ever gotten to like 100 followers. Like I'm at like 225 followers right now.
It's a race.
It's like the fastest I've ever gotten to like that high of followers on any platform, like within a week.
All right. Well, right now, just to make it a little interesting, I am at 276 followers.
Okay. I think I'm at 225.
Right. We'll keep you updated next week, and we'll see who has more followers.
I smell a bet
Threads.
brewing here.
But yeah, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, everywhere. Nintendo Powercast, CheezyC64, CheezyC64. We also have a Discord, so follow us there at Error Podcast Discord. Something.
That's not how it is. No, that's not how it works. There's a link in the show notes. Just find the link in the show notes.
I mean, I think it's probably more fun to like find it yourself.
But that's not like, I don't even know how. I know Josh has like discord.com/N64 Josh. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're
not that fancy yet.
No, we're still learning how to podcast. But also, we did get a couple of new reviews. So if you send us reviews, we'll read them on the show. Like this one that is titled "A Good Listen" by LHBVVVVVVVVVVVVVVB. And if you make a sick beat out of that, just make sure we get a cut. It says, only a matter of time before this show gets big in the gaming space. One of two gaming podcasts that I listen to. Thank you so much for that. And then we also got one from Ask What Not Why. Love the premise. Can't wait to see where you two take this and see you evolve as you go with a purple heart emoji. So thank you. We really appreciate that in any way that you can push the podcast out to people. That really helps us out a lot.
Yeah, we're at 11 5-star ratings on Apple. We're at 18 5-star ratings on Spotify. So the Apple listeners need to step it up a bit.
Yeah. What's happening there? That's a competition in itself, right? Like Spotify and Apple. Which
it's
one
pretty
do you
close.
want
It's
to
pretty
win?
close. Like the analytics show that it's about they're pretty close. Spotify and Apple. So
Yeah. It's a gaming podcast, so turn it into a game.
you gotta gamify everything.
Yeah, see which team wins. We will be talking about nostalgia blinders, nostalgia goggles, nostalgia gaming, the colored rose tinted glasses in today's episode. But before we get to that, Johnny, you went to New York recently. You went to the Nintendo store.
Yes.
And you have some things to say about it.
I went to New York. I go to New York like every 4 or 5 months. We usually go see a Broadway show, and I went to see Sweeney Todd. It was okay.
Ooh.
Not the best show that we've seen on Broadway, but it was okay. But we always go to the Lego. Well, now we go to the Lego store, and that's like a fun little thing. We found some really cool builds that we haven't seen before, and then we usually Lego store and Nintendo store are like right next to each other. So we go to the Nintendo store, and I spend like 5 minutes in there because it's such a disappointment. I don't know why. Like, I think it's the only one in the U.S., or is there one out in Seattle? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's the only one.
Yeah, so it could be something really cool, and it's just not. They used to have all of the amiibo that were ever released in like a display case. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I've never been. I would love to go. I've been to New York once.
I think it's
didn't
good.
Get the opportunity to go.
I think it's good to go once. Like, you don't really need to see it more than once because it's all pretty much the same stuff. But they used to have all of the amiibo that were ever released like in a display. They got rid of that. I don't know why. Well, no, I actually do know why, because they had an event for Everybody 1-2 Switch. So, that's more important.
Why?
Yeah.
Whoa. Were they there when the Mario shoes were revealed, the Mario boots? Or did they
I don't
them
know.
then?
I mean, when the last time I was there was in January, and they still had the amiibo in January. So now we're in July, so it's been 6 months, so they got rid of them. But I remember they used to have them all the time, and I thought they were cool because they would have like the random ones, like the Skylanders, Donkey Kong, and Bowser, and they had the Box Boy ones. Like, they had those super rare ones. I always thought it was cool to look at. They do have all of the versions of their game system, so that's pretty cool. But you see it once, and you're good.
Is the golf of the I don't know, the golf of some battle, the Game Boy that was in like what
I don't know if it's still there. It's the Gulf War.
Yes, got it.
I don't know if it's still there. I can't remember now. I don't know. I don't remember seeing it, but I know it was there. I don't know if it is there anymore. And they don't even have that much merch. Like, it's not even that much stuff to buy. Like, they have a few shirts. Like, you could buy the shirt that I'm wearing right now, but you could order that online too. What I was hoping to see was some amiibo, like the Zelda amiibo that I missed out on, that they restocked recently. They had no amiibo to buy. Absolutely none.
What do you think that means? Like, are they done with amiibo, or is that like a sign that they're?
I mean, I think
they've
been done. I think they've been done with amiibo for a long time.
Sure, but they still have like the Tears of the Kingdom amiibo coming out.
Yeah, but I don't think they don't care.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was just disappointed. I feel like that every time we go, and next time we go to New York, we'll go there again. And I'll be like, oh, this is disappointing.
Why are you gonna do that to yourself again?
Because I don't know, like it's what you have to do. Like when you go to New York, when you go to New York City and you're near Rockefeller Center, like you have to go to Nintendo store.
Is that where it is? It's by Rockefeller?
Yeah, it's like right there.
Oh.
It's right by St. Patrick's Cathedral, and like, there's a bunch of stuff over there.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't been. The only time that I was in New York was for choir, and it was like our whole choir troop got sent there, and we got to sing at Carnegie Hall. But like, it's not as impressive as it sounds because it's high school choir. I think we were pretty good, but like also, it's still high school choir, so and we didn't really get to like explore New York because we had to rehearse so much.
So what you're telling me is that you will sing the intro to the show if we ever get one.
Oh no! Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Everybody has to put in the comments, Cheesy must sing the intro to the show.
Well, I am a baritone, and in the musical world, that is barely a tone, as they say. So,
wow.
Yeah, no, that's what I heard. I was nobody special because I was a baritone. But anyway, Johnny, listen, you brought up this topic for this week of nostalgia, gaming, and how, we may look back at some games and say, oh man, that is one of my favorite games. And I know that you are one of the people that looks at that and says that game isn't good. You don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. And I like to ruin people's childhoods, so be prepared to get very angry listening to this. Yeah. But I am excited. I'm excited. I was thinking that this is probably going to be a very Nintendo centric episode because I don't have that much experience with older PlayStation or like Sega games or Xbox games, and I know we've talked about how you don't either. So I think this is going to be very heavily on the Nintendo side.
Listen, if you tell me that Barbie Pet Rescue isn't a good game, I'm gonna be very upset.
I don't even know what that's on.
It was a PC game, and it was actually my sister's, but she couldn't figure out like what she had to do or like what the puzzle was, and it was Barbie that had to like go on these detective, I guess, cases to like go find someone's pet or the reason why their pet was behaving weirdly or something like that, right? And that was a game that I did play. It's like one of those guilty pleasure games back in the day. That was my childhood, so don't ruin my
That game
childhood.
sucks. I just played it.
Man.
Doesn't hold up well.
Barbie is coming out this week. Next week, when is it? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It's the 21st. Because did you see the tweet that's been going around about like choose your fighter, and it's like Barbenheimer or something?
Yeah, Barbenheimer.
And people are like, "What is Min?" It's Pikmin for people that don't know. They all come out on July 21st.
Yeah.
But so I was thinking about this. I saw a tweet, I don't know, a week or so ago, and they said something like after playing the games on the Nintendo Switch Online NES launcher, or whatever you want to call it, they don't think the games on the NES were actually any good. That there aren't any good NES games. And
wow.
I can agree for a lot of instances. Like a lot of NES games, they do not hold up well. Like even I would say Metroid is not a good game.
You are correct, but it hurts. But there's Zero Mission that is way better to play.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a remake. But yeah, the original Metroid, it is not. I don't know if it's not good or if it's hard or it just doesn't. help the player in any way. And I think that is a common factor with older games. Like there's no hand holding. Metroid, like when you play Metroid, when you play Super Metroid, you're used to having a map and being able to like see where you're going and where you have been, where you haven't been. The original Metroid is not like that at all. It's like you gotta remember where you're going.
Yeah, it doesn't even tell you where to go.
Yeah.
And there's some spots in that game where it's like, how the heck would I have figured this out? Like, you have to bomb a certain area, but it's also going underground into one of the blocks that is, I guess, your standing ground. Does that make sense? Like you had to find your way basically to another level.
Yeah.
Through that one area itself.
Yeah. I always try to play the original Metroid when we get access to it, but I don't think I've ever gotten past the part where I got the bombs.
Yeah.
And that's like the first thing you get.
Yeah. No, I think that it says a lot for players that when they did play it on the NES, excuse me, they pulled out graph paper. That's not fun. I don't know who is trying to graph out the design of Metroid and, use that as their map. That already would not last today.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody would do that.
No. I mean, we have internet guides and everything like that. Like that game's probably super short. And that's another issue with these older games is they're really actually kind of short. Like there's no they're probably like 5-6 hour games, but they needed to make them hard and just obscure so people would spend a ton of time on them. But I think they had a point that a lot of NES games are not good. They definitely don't hold up well. I gave Cheesy a homework assignment, and I saw you tweeted about it. I asked him to play at least the first world of Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
I did. I played the first world.
The whole world, like you did the airship and everything?
Yeah, I did. So, okay. I mean, I haven't played it enough to say that it is the best Mario game. But I did learn the hard way that if you lose, starts it all over.
It starts it all over. Well, no, it doesn't start okay. So you got through the first world. Now you're in the second world. If you lose all your lives, you just go back to the beginning of the world.
Oh, good.
So it's not back to the beginning of the game. I mean, the original Super Mario Bros. Is you go back to the beginning of the game if you lose all your lives. But this one, you just go back to the beginning of the world. So it's not as unforgiving, but I don't know if it had a save feature on the original Nintendo.
It didn't look like it, but I'm using the save state, and not to rewind plays or whatever, but to just save my progress so I can go back into World 2 and start that. I haven't found any secrets, because there's a lot of secrets in Super Mario Brothers 3.
You already missed 2. So if you didn't find them, you missed 2.
Well,
secrets.
are they the POW blocks?
No.
Shoot. So no, whistles. I don't know.
They're the whistles.
They're in World 1?
Yeah, there's 2 in World 1.
Okay. I don't know what it is I'm looking for. So
yeah. I don't know how
I'll keep going.
I don't know how people found out about because the first one the first one's kind of weird to get. I don't know how. I think the game does hint at something in the level, and then you have to do it later in the level. The second one, you kind of stumble upon, but it's still kind of obscure.
Okay.
The third one's probably the easiest one to find if you know what to do. But So all right. So the question is it good?
Right now, I
Yeah.
would say it's fine. Like
Oh,
it's
boo!
no, but like it's a Mario game, right? Like I know how to play a Mario game, but I haven't played this one, so I'm going through and kind of learning. But it is kind of crazy to think about how all those games are timed, and you have what, like 3 minutes to complete a level, and you
Something
can
like
just
that.
rush right through them. So it
They
isn't going to take a lot of time.
the Super Mario Bros. 3, the levels are really short. At least
Hmm.
the first world, you could complete that like really fast. Like you
Hmm.
don't need anywhere near that amount of time.
Yeah. I lost on, I think it was level 4, where it's the side scroller.
Okay. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
that. Yeah, the auto scroll.
Hmm.
Did you do all the levels or did you just do
No,
like
so that's the other part is like I did do all of the levels, but I guess I'm confused as to why you can just go to certain levels without going in order.
because you like that's the thing. Like you don't have to go in order.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like you should, right?
You don't have to. You
Okay.
don't really get anything for doing it.
Okay.
So I think it's just it was like an accessibility thing. Like if you can't beat one level, then you could go try to do a different level.
Hmm.
But like, are you gonna go back to it?
Yeah, I'll continue playing it because for me, I want to see just like what the hype is of this being one of the best Mario games, and then for me to either say, yeah, I agree with it, or no, I don't know what people are talking about. Like, it's probably that I am playing this at the wrong time, and there's better Mario games out there now, and I just don't understand what people see in it. But I don't know. I like that's me playing devil's advocate, right? Like it could be really good, and I just need to keep playing it.
It has probably the best power ups in any Mario game,
Well,
and
because
you
you have the
didn't get to experience
Tanuki,
the
there's the frog
Tanuki
suit.
suit. There's the frog suit. There's the boot. There's the raccoon tail. There's the Hammer Bros.
Wait,
There's
the raccoon tail, that's the Tanuki tail,
well,
right?
there's two. There's a Tanuki suit, and then there's the raccoon leaf
Oh,
or whatever it's called. Yeah, so
okay.
you have to. You only got through the first world. You haven't gotten to experience some of the really cool
Yeah,
power ups.
yeah. I guess like so the whole point of this conversation is, and you brought it up with N64 games.
Yeah,
You have a huge problem with N64 games and saying that they're not good.
they are not good. N64 games are bad. Full stop. Like I don't know what else there is to say about it. I can't think of an N64 game that I'm like, oh my god, I want to play this again.
Really? There's not one?
No, no.
So you think that they haven't aged well because why?
So the camera,
Uh-huh.
specifically in 3D games, which that's what the whole era of N64 was. Like, Mario went into 3D, Zelda went into 3D,
Hmm.
but the camera is just so bad on every single game. Like I went to go back. I played Super Mario 64 when it came to the Nintendo Switch, and they could have fixed that camera. They could have made it a free camera, and it would have
Hmm.
been a much better game. It would have held up much more than it does. But people think, like, I understand what Super Mario 64 did for gaming and for Mario,
Hmm.
but I just can't play it. It doesn't feel good to play. The camera's terrible.
Hmm.
And that's how it is for most N64 games.
I mean, okay, so I'm trying to think of like N64 games to me that hold up. I do like Pokemon Snap, and I know that that's not like a really common game. It's on rails. It's just a taking pictures of Pokemon. But going back to that game, those photos are pretty rough. And all the Pokemon are very blocky looking.
I like that game for, like, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that clever. Maybe I thought it was clever. Like, you throw an apple into the volcano and like a Charizard pops out or something. Like, it's kind of a cool concept, but you're just taking pictures. Like, it's not anything special.
I thought it was special because to me, it was like I always wanted to have Pokemon just like roaming in my backyard or just, wherever you were, Pokemon were there. And so they made a game that allowed you to feel like you could just take close-up pictures and get close to Pokemon. And that's not something that they did with the Game Boy games because it's all battling, And so like these, and also they were more lively in their respected environments. So it was cool to go from like a desert to a volcano area to a cave and see some of your favorite Pokemon in that environment. So I enjoyed it for what it was for that. For me, I guess when it comes to this conversation, we think of GoldenEye.
Oh god.
And how much everybody wanting GoldenEye to come to Switch, and we got it. That game doesn't hold up.
That game is bad. Oh my god. GoldenEye on N64 is a train wreck. Again, I understand what it does for what it did for first person shooters, but it's awful. Like it's not fun to go back to.
So this is where it gets kind of dicey, right? Because there are people that love GoldenEye. There's people that love Super Mario 64 because they're attached to it.
Because of nostalgia blinders. Because of nostalgia blinders.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, right? I don't like when people say that Space Jam is a bad movie.
Wait, who says Space Jam's a bad movie?
Oh, Space Jam, I mean, it's not a good movie. I know that it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie for kind of the first of its kind.
It's a fun kids movie. It's a kids movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a little bit different. Like GoldenEye isn't really a kids game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it was super fun to play with your friends. And I think a lot of these older games, like N64 games, especially like the multiplayer ones, were really fun to play couch co-op with your friends.
Yeah.
But now we don't have, like, that's not a thing anymore.
Okay, so do we not have attachments to things as much as we used to? Because you brought up like just playing with friends, and I'm thinking going over to a friend's house, spending the night, maybe eating pizza and drinking Mountain Dew and playing like GoldenEye or Mario Party or Smash until like 3 a.m.
Yeah, and that is exactly what nostalgia blinders are.
Yeah, but I think even kids today don't really have those kind of attachments. Maybe they do. Maybe like
I think they do. I think they actually do.
With what?
Like, I don't know. I know. Man, when I make a video about Wii, I also think Wii games are bad. Like, I don't think they hold up.
Come on, man. You
they
think
don't.
Wii games are bad?
They don't. Like Mario Kart Wii, people like that, and it's the worst Mario Kart game.
But I think that's why people like it, is because it doesn't make any sense.
No, that's not. They don't like it because it's bad. They like it because it was their childhood. But
because it's like their first Mario Kart game.
Yeah, that game is like, yeah, exactly. That game is awful. It has terrible rubber banding issues. You could only play as Funky Kong on a motorbike if you want to win.
That's not true.
It is true. It's true.
That's a meta to
I'm pretty
only
sure
play as Funky Kong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe you're just not good. Have you thought about that?
No, it's because I didn't want to use Funky Kong on a motorbike.
It's all starting to make sense. You have hatred towards games because you're not very good at playing these games. Is that what it is?
No. But like a lot of people have, A lot of people have this. I know the Wii's not even that old. It's only 15 years old.
I mean, it is. It's
Yeah, I
2006,
guess so.
right?
But like, the only games that I could see people being okay with saying that they're good is the Mario Galaxy games. Other than that, Wii games are bad.
Wii Sports.
It
The
was
magic that brought everyone
It's
together.
probably not a good game. Like when you look at it, it's probably not a good game.
I don't think that it would hold up today with like the way that people's
Well, we
attention
know it doesn't
spans
hold
are.
up today because Switch Sports is not.
I, that is so tough to talk about because the charm is missing. It's not the same at all. There's not even the same sports in Switch Sports that there was in Wii Sports. There were only 5 sports. Like, what are you doing? And we still
Yeah.
haven't got them. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Again, talking about like what games have done, Wii was a big one that changed motion gaming, right? So when it comes to the Wii, yes, I don't think that it would really hold up today.
What Wii games have you played lately?
Lately?
Yeah.
None. Why would I have
Exactly.
played them lately?
Exactly. You don't want to go back and play Wii games. It's not fun. Motion controls are awful. Like
People would go back to them if they were online. Like if we had a library to access Wii games, you don't think the people would go back and play them?
well, I mean maybe. They were on the Wii U. You could buy them on the Wii U.
Yeah, and you can also just use your Wii U as a Wii.
Yeah, but like 3 people bought a Wii U, so people clearly didn't care about the Wii that much.
Aw, hold up. Wait, what are you talking about? They didn't care about the Wii. It sold so much. It was one of the biggest, like,
To grandmas,
it was a huge headline when it came out. Like, people couldn't even get them
to
until
grandmas.
January. Grandmas were just buying Wii.
Yeah, all those like I remember when you could buy a car and you would get a Wii with it. And then,
Excuse me?
Yeah, like
was
some
a
car dealerships were doing like Wii giveaways, and then there was Wiis in the retirement homes.
Yeah. But, like, I don't think it was just old people that are buying Wiis. I don't know. So, okay. When you're talking about games that aren't good, is a remake still. Does a remake make it good again, or was it always good before, but they just have updated controls?
So,
So 'cause
Resident
I'm
Evil-
thinking of like Ocarina of Time for the
Oh
3DS.
yeah, like I would never like. I don't really have access. Well, I guess I have a 3DS, but I don't play it. But I haven't played Ocarina of Time on N60 on the Nintendo Switch. Like I would much rather wait for them to port the 3D version.
Right. But what I'm saying is, even though it's been remade, is the N64 game still bad if it's just a remake of that game?
No, I think Ocarina of Time is one of the few exceptions that is actually like a solid game. Yeah, there's issues with it. The camera is terrible on that game too. But I think that game does hold up more
Yep.
so than others.
I'm trying to remember. Did you play the Mario 64 DS?
Yeah.
Was the camera, was that fixed, or
No.
is that still? So it was still the same.
Yeah, I think it was still the same. I mean, I haven't played it in a while. The Mario Kart or the Mario 64 DS, that was best for the mini games.
True. Which is funny now that I'm playing Super Mario Brothers 3 because I like recognize the music,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, this is like in the casino when Luigi is playing cards.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time there.
They need to bring back Luigi Poker. That is a perfect game. Well, a perfect
Yeah.
mini game. No nostalgia blinders on that one.
Just Luigi everything, honestly.
But I think the 3D era of like N64 when it started, when you look back at it now, it's struggled. Like it's rough. Like a lot of those
Yeah.
games are not fun to go back to. But if you look at the Super Nintendo era, or even like the Game Boy Advance, like the 2D 16-bit era games, they hold up much better than the N64 games. Like Super Mario World, still fantastic. Link to the Past, still fantastic. Super Metroid, fantastic. Like all of those games hold up. Well, this is not nostalgia blinders talking. It's not what I grew up on. So I clearly know that this is a fact.
Why do you think that they're better games?
Their controls are tighter. We don't have to deal with a absolute trash camera all the time. And
Well, there
it's
wasn't
my
a camera.
childhood, so
Yeah, there wasn't a camera. So
exactly.
Yeah, but then they tried to do something that was different. And at the time, that was pretty cool. Because I remember playing Banjo-Kazooie and being able to like use the camera and all of that was my first 3D adventure was Banjo-Kazooie. So like for me, I thought it was really cool that I could just pretty much go wherever I wanted, find all of these collectibles, and going back to it, yeah, the camera's not great. And I think there's some controls that are kind of backwards.
I don't
Well, especially
remember.
on Switch, because I still, for the life of me, can't figure out what a Z button is. So
Before recording, I actually wanted to play some N64 games to get a better understand, like be more prepared for this. And I played Star Fox. Yeah, Star Fox.
yeah,
And it was fine. Like on rails, it was fine. I didn't really have to worry about the camera too much. But I didn't know what buttons were. I was using the Pro Controller, and I have
Yeah.
I have the N64 one. But I was using Pro Controller. I don't know, like it was telling me to use the C buttons, and I don't know what the C buttons are on the Pro Controller. So
it would be nice if they just kind of gave us a guide, as to what buttons are what.
they're like, yeah, you
maybe-
gotta pay 50. Or how much was that controller? Yeah, $50 for that controller. You'll be good. But like,
I did
even
play
like,
Star.
I know I'm harping on the N64 games, but they had to issue like warnings about Mario Party. They had to issue those gloves.
Uh-huh.
Like, how can you say that game is good when it's physically hurting you?
Well, that's how kids, that's how they feel things.
I did like how in the Mario Party Superstars they have a warning
They do, yeah.
about if you spin it really fast. Here's
Yeah, but
another.
a warning is just going to make them do it even more. And then they're like, why does my Joy-Con have drift?
Exactly. Here's
Yeah.
here's another one that I know people love, and it
Okay.
is just not a good game.
Here we go.
Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay. Don't do that, man. This is a hard one to talk about because I love this game.
Because how old were you when you played it? That's the
It was GameCube, so I was math. I don't know. I was
probably a teenager, like early teens maybe.
Yeah, maybe 10 or 11 maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Nostalgia blinders.
Okay. It's tough because I love the premise of this game. I think that is the weirdest Mario plot. He goes on vacation, but while he's on vacation, he is committed for a crime that he didn't do. but it's on a tropical island and the music is so catchy. It's like it still hasn't left my brain. Dun, 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 dun,
It
dun.
has a great aesthetic. I will give it that. It has a great aesthetic, but playing the game, it's just not fun. Like I thought I liked it like growing up. Like I played it as a kid. And
Yeah.
then when it came to the Switch, I'm like, "Oh, nice. I haven't played this in 20 years." And then I'm like, "Oh, I wish I hadn't played it for 20 more years because this is just awful." Like the levels where you don't have flood,
Yeah.
you control like a wet noodle.
Yeah, the Mario's got some like butter on the bottom of his shoes. He's so slippery.
Yeah.
It's not it's hard to admit, but yeah, it's not. I still like it though. Like I don't want to say that it's not a good game because I still like it. Like aiming with flood is non-existent. You can't
Oh yeah.
really aim, and then there's the one part where it's like the casino.
Oh, the
and you have
casino where you have to flip the
yeah.
or what do you have to clean off so you reveal a star or something, or you got to flip
No,
it?
something like that. There were tiles that like
Yeah,
you had to flip.
Awful. Who thought that
But-
was a good idea?
One little drop could change the one that you didn't want to flip, and you're like, ah. So then you do
It's
that.
a
and then
6-hour
you change
game, but you take 10 hours doing that one puzzle.
Yeah. So when it came to Switch, I played it, and I don't remember how long it took me, and I was frustrated, and I was sad that it wasn't the way that I remembered it. But I don't think I ever beat it when I was a kid, so I was happy to have beat it after all these years. But then after I beat it, I was like, okay, I kind of have a better understanding of how Mario works and how flood is used, and there's like some things that you can completely skip over if you know how to move Mario. So then I did a speed run of it, a speed run in quotes because it was terrible. And I think that took me 6 hours.
Okay.
So not really a speed run. I get it. But
What's the
a
world
speed run
record in
for
that
me.
game? Probably like 25 minutes.
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Yeah,
But yeah,
GameCube.
go ahead.
I think GameCube is another era that I remember really liking because I was like, I was a teenager. I was 14, 15 years old when I got it. But looking back, like Metroid Prime, I don't know how we played that before they fixed the controls. Because didn't you have to like stop and aim and like, it was just not a well-designed shooter. Like they had the C stick that they could have used as a twin stick, but they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess with nostalgia, it's hard because you know that people are going to be hurt by it. But years from now, do you think people are going to be saying the same thing about Switch games? Do you think those are going to hold up?
I think so. I think people will have nostalgia.
Audio listeners can't see, but I am smiling at you in disbelief right now.
I think like Breath of Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, like that's gonna live on for generations. Mario Odyssey, like even I made a comment about Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon about how I don't think that that's a fun game or a good game, and people got on my case. They're like, that was my childhood.
Well,
That's
it's
the
a
best
fun
one in the
game.
series.
It's not the best in the series. I'll give you that one.
That's what they said. It's the
Yeah.
worst in the series.
Yes. But still good. Like I wouldn't call it a bad game to not even play it. It's a huge difference going from Luigi's Mansion 1 where everything is kind of more creepy and like ghosts actually look like people and there's some like really hidden lore there, but then you go to Dark Moon and the ghosts are kind of more cartoony and fun, and I don't know, so nobody can like quote me on this, but I do think that maybe they changed it because kids were getting scared in the first game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But even if you think about the Switch came out 6.5 years ago, like that's a long time Like say you got Mario Odyssey when it came out and you were 10 years old. Now you're almost an adult. Like, and you would have those nostalgia feelings for that.
For sure.
Like for me, it's the 90s. You know, I feel nostalgic for the 90s when I see those weird like blue like carpet aesthetics from like arcades and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't feel like when people said that Dark Moon was their childhood game, I'm like, I was an adult. I had responsibilities. I had a job. Same.
And
with
what's funny about people saying that like those are their favorite games as kids, because I can speak to this just through my own experience. Like I said, with Super Mario Sunshine, I didn't beat that game. I probably played like the first few levels over and over again, and maybe I like advanced a little further than that, but you go back to the things that the things that you liked playing and try to get better. So it is very possible that they haven't even played the game all the way through. Johnny, in your case, you never do. So
hey, I just beat a game. I beat Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were complaining about that too.
Well, I just didn't like how they ended it. Well, how they kind of fake you out. Like the ending is really good, but like they make you do certain things. I don't want to spoil anything, but they make you do certain things, and then you go thinking, "Oh, this is it," and then they're like, "No, you got to do this other thing for 4 more hours." I'm like, "Come on, man! Just trying to beat the game."
Yeah, but it sounds like you weren't enjoying it then.
At that part, I enjoyed the end.
No, but during so like if you are enjoying the game, it shouldn't matter if you still have more to do.
Well, I just wanted to be done with the story.
So do you think that people will look back at Tears of the Kingdom and be like, I hate the way that there's a fake ending? Or
I mean, people do that for Breath of the Wild.
Exactly. That's my point. Is that it's probably not going to hold up. As much as we love to say that these games are great and they run well and it's the best that Nintendo has done.
But they don't run well.
Okay. So already there's reason for people to say that these are just
and they're big, empty open worlds. There's nothing to do. Like I see it every day for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is just DLC for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, I won't be nostalgic. I don't know. Can you be nostalgic and be a 40-year-old person?
Like, I think you can be nostalgic for anything. I mean, nostalgia. I mean, I don't know what the definition is, but if we look it up, I'm sure it's just something that you have attachment to.
Yeah.
So years from now, I mean, like you could be nostalgic to something and people are like, no, that's stupid. It sucks.
You know what's actually kind of funny you bring that up? Because I am nostalgic for like Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Okay.
Like back when that game came out.
Yeah.
Like that was a really cool experience.
Yeah. That's another side of nostalgia, right? Is like revisiting, and we've kind of already talked about this, but to go deeper into it is revisiting something that you once loved and realizing, wow, this is not as good as I remember, but also maybe I should have just left it in the past.
Yeah. But I also feel bad for saying like Super Mario 64 is not good, because I know like that's people's favorite games. And sure. I feel bad for like maybe ruining it a little for them.
It's also not fact. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not fact. Oh, so we didn't talk anything about PlayStation or Sega, so I gotta get those in there too. Have you played Crash Bandicoot?
No. But I mean, I know of it.
So I never had PlayStation growing up, so I don't have attachment or nostalgia for Crash Bandicoot. But I picked up the Insane Trilogy or whatever it was called.
Okay.
And oh my God, probably the worst platformer I've ever played.
Even the Insane Trilogy?
Yeah,
Like,
well, they didn't change the controls,
Oh, okay.
but the control, it's like, it's weird. It's really weird to play, especially now because like the platforming is not tight. Like you have to be precise, but you can't be precise at the same time.
But isn't that part of like why people like Crash is because it is a difficult game to play?
But it's difficult because it's poorly designed, not because it's challenging. It's just like there's this one level, it's called, I forget what it's called, the Impossible Bridge or something.
Okay.
And it's just not fun to do. Because like you could be going along, perfectly timing your jumps, and then something happens where you miss it by a split second and you just die and have to start all over. Like it's not, I don't know, it's not fun.
So like I don't know. I just think that it's interesting territory that we are getting into because like you said, yeah, it's people's favorite games and it's not a fact, right? It's our opinion and they might disagree with us.
There's no good Sonic games either.
Oh my God. Oh, dude, why are you going after the Sonic people?
haven't they been hurt
All the
enough?
people. Oh my God. Why aren't the Sonic games good?
Because I'm a Nintendo fan.
Oh, all right. Well, there it is, folks.
No, I don't know. I understand the concept of Sonic. Like you got to go fast and momentum, but then like you hit a wall and you have to. It's not like completely stops you. It's just not fun. It's not fun to play.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't really know where we go from here because we're just crushing so many
They're just
people right now.
trashing. What's a series or what's a game that you enjoyed
Okay,
growing up
Split-
and it still holds up today?
And still holds up? Yeah, that's a good point. Like I just off the top of my head, I don't know if I really have one. Like I mean, I think Melee probably still holds up.
I don't know. I didn't. I think it holds up for competitive players, but like if you just want to play for fun,
Uh-huh.
I don't think.
I don't know. It's a good question. I'll have to like look at my collection and kind of report back, I guess. I was gonna say Splatoon, at least the first game, doesn't hold up. One, because there's nobody online anymore. So like already that game is non-existent. But like just the way that specials are super overpowered in that game, and it's really hard to like combat them. So they fixed that in Splatoon 2, and Splatoon 3 has some quality of life changes. It's quicker, and the specials are easier to take down. But I know that like already people trash. That's my favorite series. Is like I just have an attachment to Splatoon. I wasn't allowed to play shooters growing up, so that's why Splatoon is so special to me. Is because I feel like I found a series that was meant for me. It's Nintendo. It is an online shooter that I wasn't allowed to play, and I figured out how to get good at it. It's colorful. It's the character designs are great. The writing is really charming. The music is good. And the fact that it's like a reflection on our reality, I just think it's cool that no matter where we are in life, like the developers are going to kind of put that into the game. But it probably won't hold up, and people are going to talk bad about it. And I'm not ready for that.
People are already like, why do we have 2 and 3 on the Switch?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, all I can think of is they sold 10 million copies of 3, so that's why.
Yeah, exactly. And because what the Wii U sold, I think it was like 5 million, which
Yeah.
was great for a console that nobody had.
Yeah. I don't know. I
So
think the 2D Mario games hold up perfectly. I could still play the original Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. 2 even. That's a little bit weirder one, but I could play Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario World is phenomenal. The Donkey Kong games, pretty much all of them except for Donkey Kong 64.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for that game to come onto
It's
Switch.
so
because
bad. It's so bad. That like if people say that they like that game, but that one is the most nostalgia blinded game ever. Like nobody wants to change to a different Kong to get different colored bananas. Like it's so bad.
it's a cool idea in theory. And
Yeah, in
you know
execution
what?
it's awful.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, think about how that may have influenced like Grand Theft Auto 5, where you do have to switch between characters. So no, it's not the same as it is in Donkey Kong 64,
You
but
heard it here first. Donkey Kong 64 influenced GTA 5.
those the facts.
No, just putting aside how fun the games are to play, there's a lot more quality of life improvements now. Like I went back and played Pikmin 1, and going from Pikmin 1 to Pikmin 4, the quality of life is just night and day.
Yeah, for sure. And like there's so many changes in Pikmin 4 that I'm really happy about, and it's going to make the game more fun. It will make it easier for players. It will be more seamless, so you're doing more tasks at one time, which is not how Pikmin 1 is. You only have 3 Pikmin that you can choose from.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice to only have 3 because it's less overwhelming.
Is that how it is for Pikmin 4? I mean, we still don't know. We played the demo, but it seemed like you can only have 3 out at a time. Was that right?
No, I don't know. I don't know. You could probably have as many out as you want. But yeah, I mean, I only got 3. I got the red, yellow, and ice.
Yeah, that's all I got. There was the blue onion that I saw, but I don't think that we had like enough to get it. Like that seems like something you'll have to do after the demo.
Yeah, like I think didn't Crawler try to get it, and like he didn't have enough.
Yeah, he kind of trapped himself in the water, so then all his Pikmin were dying.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, that comes out in a week and a half, so I'm excited to play that. But I don't know how to end this. We're almost at an hour.
Okay, well, I do want to touch on one point, because as I was bringing up Splatoon, it's gonna hurt when they do kind of change the formula, because they will. They'll change up something that it wasn't like when it first came out. And my prime example is Pokemon. We have a lot of people that get upset about Pokemon because they have a certain attachment to how the games used to be.
Yeah.
And now the games have changed a lot. And I just want to say, like, I think it is hard to admit, but it is okay to admit when a series is no longer for you. Like, that sucks. You are nostalgic to that property. You have a lot of memories. Maybe you collected the cards or whatever series it is. I'm just using Pokemon as an example. But it's a hard one for fans to just walk away from because they want it to be something that it was, but that's not how it is anymore.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about Pokemon before we started recording. I completely forgot about it. But like I don't know, like if I didn't grow up on Pokemon, I don't know if I would enjoy it. Like I don't know if it's a good series for older people. Like I know there's a lot of ins and outs of like competitive Pokemon and like you can get really into it, but if my mind was wiped and I forgot all about Pokemon, and somebody said, "Hey, you should play Pokemon," I probably wouldn't like it.
You don't think you would like it for what reasons?
I think I don't know. I'm gonna get in trouble again, but like it's
what?
a kid's game. Like we talked about how Kirby is for babies.
Pokemon's not a kid's game.
Is for toddlers.
It's not for toddlers.
But no, I mean, like, there are so many other JRPGs that are technically better than Pokemon. And there are even monster collectors that are better than Pokemon. But I do think people have an attachment to Pokemon that they won't let go. Myself included. Like I can admit that.
Our guest for next week is a huge Pokemon fan, so I'm very curious to hear his take. But he's also very honest when it comes to just the gaming circles and discourse, and just like, maybe things are being blown out of proportion, or, oh, do we really care about this change in a game? So I'm excited to have him on to just hear his point of view on nostalgia and how we get attached to things, and if it's okay to leave them behind, or you can revisit them and be disappointed. It's just in general, nostalgia is a very tricky subject, and I think you have to make that choice for yourself. Like, sometimes you have to leave. There's like a quote where it's like, I wish I could know when I was in the good old days. Something like that.
You don't know. Yeah, and I know what you mean. It's from The Office, isn't it? Because doesn't he say something like, I wish we would know we were in the good old days. Like, I wish we would know when we're in the good old days. Like, you don't really know that you're in the good old days. Something like that. I don't know.
I mean, I'm looking it up because I think it would be a good way to end our show for nostalgia. It is from The Office. It's Andy Bernard. And he says, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you actually left them.
Nostalgia is one heck of a drug.